All right, hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Austrian Grand Prix. We are back for LFR, and today we're starting off round one of Season 1 here today in the Formula 4 Championship. Today, we're here at the Thursday division for this brand new championship. I am so excited to get the racing underway here today at the Red Bull Ring. It's been a while since I've commentated, and I'm excited to get back into it. I hope you guys are ready for the first round in LFR's Thursday division. It looks like everyone's readying up to get the race underway. So let's talk about where we are before we get into our one-shot qualifying. I'll explain about that in just a moment here. So we are at the Austrian Grand Prix, the Red Bull Ring, of course. It's got 10 turns, which makes it the shortest track on the Formula 1 calendar. A circuit length of 4.3 kilometers, that's 2.6 miles long. There's also 3 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking for rounds here in today's race. So with the track details aside, let's get into the Grand Prix here at LFR. Alright, so as you can see on your screen, we're heading into the one-shot qualifying. So how this works is we're going to have a one-shot qualifying session, then we're going to head into a sprint race, a 25% race, and then we're going to head into the official 50% race. So a little bit different to the usual 50% race that we usually had in the short qualifying in the previous seasons in LFR. But of course, this is a brand new type of championship, a brand new type of season on Thursday. Because we're going to have a very different grid to the normal 20 cars and the 10 teams, a totally different championship as well, because we got the pot championship coming in as well, the drivers and constructors coming in, and totally different teams. I'll explain that in just a moment time. So you're going to see different cars out there, because usually you see the Mercedes, Ferraris, Red Bulls, but today we'll be seeing some very different cars out on track. I'll be getting into that in just a moment time, but we're going to get into this one-shot qualifying. This means that these drivers will have just one chance to set a decent lap time. These results from the one-shot qualifying will set the grid for the small sprint race that we do have, which is the 25% race. That should last around, I'd say, 17 laps. I don't know exactly. We'll find out when we get to the 25% race. But right now, we got 14 seconds till we get underway. And while we're waiting for that, thank you so much for joining. I saw a few people that joined the live stream, so thank you very, very much. I can't wait to get into the first round in LFR. I'm Formula Jonah, your commentator for today, and let's get into the action. So we're going to ride on board with the Toyota car, that beautiful red and white livery as it is, as we come down into turn one on board with Brad in the Toyota. A very nice line through the first turn as you come up the hill. Now it is raining out on track, so you're not going to see any DRS on the track at all. Down into turn 3, you're going to brake at the 100-meter mark. If it is dry, you usually brake there, but since it is raining, you might want to brake a little bit sooner. Brad gets a little bit squirrely off the exit of turn 3, as I'm assuming a lot of drivers will be doing that. He's down to P7 currently. It looks like Kingsholm in the Ford is leading us away as we head down into turn 4. Things could change as we enter the second sector here. On the power, very, very slowly because of these difficult conditions out on track. Down to turn 5 and 6 and 7. The double left-handers as is. Going a little wide is Brad. He gets right on the side of the curb as we come down into sector 2. One of my worst places for crashing out, because that is a very difficult corner, turn 8, as it is. Now, we got a double right-hander for the final 2 turns of the Austrian Grand Prix. It is a very short lap here at the Red Bull Ring. Gets right in between the curb, and he's going to come through to set a pretty decent lap time. I think he's going to finish 6th. But it is Daisy #1 fan out on top for the first qualifying session here today in the LFR. So congrats to him. And I do believe he is driving for the Bentley team, if I'm not mistaken, or it could be Porsche. I couldn't tell exactly what he is driving for. I think it is the Bentley team. No, Bentley is the silver team. And then it looks like we have the Porsches down in 8th, 9th, and 10th. So they didn't have the best of qualifying. The Monster Energy cars in 2nd and 5th, and a few others down the grid as well. But it is #1 fan out on top for that team with a 112.472. Now, as I did mention, it is raining out on track, so the conditions are very, very different. It is quite different out on track. All right, so we're going to head into the racing now, and just to confirm, we have 5 different types of teams on the grid, 4 different drivers for those teams. Now, I'll explain them real quickly when we're in the formation lap, as it is dry out on track, so we'll get DRS, we'll get all those overtaking, which is great to see. We had a wet qualifying, now we head into the Grand Prix. So, into this 25% race, we have a brand new lineup of drivers. We got Porsche, we got the Porsche team, and so that's going to be great to see Porsche out on the grid as well. We got Bentley, number 1 fan was driving the Bentley, and he will start on pole position for the 25% race. Then we also have Toyota, another team that we witnessed in today's qualifying session. We were riding on board with Brad in that Toyota car. Then we got Monster Energy, great to see the Monster Energy team in, as they are the bright green livery out on track. And then last but not least, we got Ford, and those are the blue cars. So Porsche is the black cars, Bentley is the silverish gray cars, and then we got Toyota in the red team, King David in the green, or sorry, not King David, the Monster Energy. King David's driving for Monster Energy. Monster Energy in the green cars, and then Ford in the blue cars. So that's kind of where that's going to go. Throughout the season, we'll kind of get used to these cars. I don't really know the teams too much, as this is my first race commentating on all these teams, but yeah, we'll get used to them throughout the season, so just keep an eye on that as well. You also see some drivers in the white cars as well. Those are reserve drivers, so just letting you all know, if you do see some cars in with like a white livery with a white little tag next to their name, that means that they are reserve drivers. But Daisy number 1 fan in that beautiful Bentley livery is heading down to turn 4, and he's going to start us away. Then we got Battle Mini in the Monster Energy car, that beautiful green livery. Look at that, it just shines off the car. And then completing the top 3, we got Kingsholm in another beautiful livery, the Ford livery. I really like this one, as Ford is an American team. I am American, so I might be voting for the Ford team, as they are my home team, I guess you could say. So anyway, we're ready to go for the race here today. It's a very exciting new championship. I hope you guys are enjoying the live stream so far. If you are subscribed to the channel, we are just a few subscribers away from reaching 170, so this would be really beneficial if you guys can subscribe, so thank you very much. Also, like this video if you're enjoying the commentary, and if you want to check me out on social media, I'm also there as well on YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of thing, so you guys can go do that. But we're ready to go for the first race here in LFR's Formula 4 race. This is the Thursday division, and we're here for round 1. We're getting ready for the first of 2 races here today at the Austrian Grand Prix. The one-shot qualifying set the grid, and now we're getting ready for the final, the final preparations before the race gets underway. So everyone is done with the formation lap. They prepared themselves for the upcoming race, and now we're ready to go for the 18 laps of the 25% sprint race here today. So Daisy number 1 fan starting on that side of the track. Let's see what he can do on the left side. Can he try and cover off Zamini in the Monster Energy? We will see how that all works out. We're just waiting for the drivers to get on the grid, and it looks like we are ready to go. So the 5 red lights are about to hit the track, and where are those lights? We're waiting for them. I don't see them anytime. There they are. The 5 red lights are ready. And here we go for the racing here today for the 25% race. It's a really good start for the Bentley as Daisy number 1 fan leads us away. A very good start also for the Ford of Kingsholm. He goes a little bit wide. Same with the second Monster Energy car. That's King David also going a little bit wide, but Zamini keeps second place. And it looks like Anthony is now trying to go side by side with Kingsholm. Down to turn 3 we go. They're side by side. Oh, and there's a Monster Energy car going very deep into the back. I think that might have been Mr. Basil. Not exactly sure though, but he's got no wing though. Looks like he outbraked himself, but they were 3 wide down into turn 3. Great action to see here today, as that looks to be Anthony trying to go for a move once again on LGE Kingsholm. Here we go. Is Anthony gonna get ahead? It looks like he's going to, as he's still side by side with Kingsholm. Kingsholm's not backing off anytime soon, but eventually he has to, because that corner is just the way it is. Anthony gets ahead of Kingsholm for now. Cork in the Ford is also there, as well as that Daisy number 1 fan and Tommy out of the race already on lap 1. The pole sitter is out. This is chaos here today at Austria as the Bentley is out of the race. This is chaos as it looks like a VSC has been called out, but what has just happened there? It looks like number 1 fan is out of the race. Maybe he spun off of that very difficult corner. Turn 8 it is. And that is number 1 fan, the pole sitter from today's race, out of the Grand Prix. This is chaos here on lap 2. So number 1 fan's out, and also Tommy as well. Unfortunate to see both drivers out. The pole sitter, Daisy number 1 fan, is out for Bentley. Of course, he will be returning in the later 50% race. But while this is while these drivers won't be scoring any points in today's particular 25% race, they will have to start further down the grid, because that's the thing, guys, is that Daisy number 1 fan, who started on pole position, while he won't be scoring any points today, he will be starting towards the back when we head into the 50% race later on. So this is really not the best situation. Of course, it's not the end of the world, because those 3 drivers that have just retired from the Grand Prix will be coming back in the 50% race. But of course, it is unfortunate, and it is a lot of drama after what has just happened on lap 1. Safety car is out on track. Zamini will take the lead of the Grand Prix. It's actually a Monster Energy 1-2 as it stands. Looks like Anthony will take second place with Keensholm and Cork, the 2 Fords, in 3rd and 4th now. So now it's Ford leading away as the dominant team on the grid. Looks like the Toyotas have also got themselves up in the top 6 as well. Looks like Martin and Blades both in 5th and 6th now, so that's great to see as well. But I gotta say, pretty good start from the Monster Energy team, as they got Zamini up in 1st. They got Lemsky in the other Monster Energy car in 7th, and Keen David in the 3rd Monster Energy in 9th. Unfortunately, Mr. Basil is out of the Grand Prix. It looks like maybe it kind of looked like he had a brake failure, but of course in the game we don't really get that unless maybe someone their steering wheel, if they're using a wheel, maybe the brake pedal just stopped working for a moment. But it was either that or maybe just a miscommunication in terms of trying to like brake, I guess that's the only word I can really say. So maybe Mr. Basil outbraked himself. I'm not exactly sure, but that's okay. Turn 3 is a very difficult corner to understand, you know, in terms of the braking. You know, I get it wrong all the time, because you think like you have to brake at the 100-meter mark, but it's such a heavy corner because you have so much speed heading off of turn 2 and turn 1, all that first couple of corners. You have so much speed, you're gonna get the max amount of speed at the top of the hill, and then you have to go to the lowest amount of speed because you're, I don't know, around 210 miles per hour heading up to the top of the hill, and then you got to go all the way down to the least amount of speed. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. So it is a very difficult corner to get completely right. Alright, so currently we have lost Tommy, we've lost Daisy number 1 fan, and we've lost Mr. Basil as well. All 3 retired from the Grand Prix. There was contact with number 1 fan and Tommy. Unfortunate to see that, of course, but that is the way it goes. And that means that we have lost one of the Porsches, one of the Bentleys, and one of the Monster Energy cars. So currently only Ford and Toyota are the only teams to have all of their drivers on the grid right now. So yeah, we'll see how this all works out, but we have 4 laps into the Grand Prix. We have many laps to go. The safety car has been called out because of the contact at the start of the Grand Prix. It looks like, I wish I can get a replay of this, guys, but I think what happened is number 1 fan maybe just got too much on the curb. I was unfortunately focusing on another battle, so I couldn't really get it. But number 1 fan maybe lost it on turn 8, may have spun, maybe hit Tommy in the process. Not exactly sure what happened. I'm sure we'll get some confirmation on that in just a little bit of time. But it looks like the formation lap is, or not the formation lap, the safety car is going in this lap. We're ready to get the racing underway, and we're ready for Zamini to start off the Grand Prix, and let's see where he goes. That's the question, is where will he go? Will he go off the exit of turn 9, or will he go off the exit of turn 10? Most likely turn 10, but he's getting ready for an exit off of turn 9. It looks like he's going quite slowly. He's backing this up. He's making sure that he's ready to go. He's weaving the pack up. He's getting ready. And here we go. Right on board. There he goes. He has gone. And it looks like Zemini got a really good start off of Anthony. Anthony trying to warm up his tires, get ready for the start. Looks like Keen's home doing the same as Keen David and Nem going side by side. It looks like Nem's trying to go down the inside. There's contact. Wings flying everywhere. And that's one of the Porsches and the Monster Energy cars, I think, making contact. Not exactly sure. There goes Brad in one of the Toyotas making a move on Nem. And it looks like Nem will, maybe he got wing damages. Keen David sending it on Brad. Oh, Brad has to go a little bit wide. Here comes Lewis F1 in the Bentley. Bentley putting themselves up into the top 10. Lewis now into 9th place. I'm not sure exactly who has damage. Is it Nem? It kind of looks like, yeah, it's Nem. It is Nem in the Porsche. As look at this, we got Ford and Porsche wheel to wheel between two of their cars. The Fords and the Porsches side by side. Ooh, a little bit of contact between the two. The Ford has to go a little bit wide there as Reese Boy has to avoid Nem, who's struggling to try and get back to the pit lane right now. 5-second penalty for Nero. And he's at the back of the field right now. We'll get the full mini-map out on screen. Sorry to not have that out on screen. I'm not sure why. Oh, as that goes, Martin. Wow, what speed he had off of turn 10. Either Blades just didn't get a very good exit off that particular section, or Martin's got some incredible speed, some incredible straight line speed in that Toyota car. Not exactly sure, but it looks like Martin does get past. Oh, Blades almost hits the back of his teammate there. That corner really proving to be a difficult corner to get completely right for around here, as it looks like Nero has just retired from the session. Nem in the pit lane as well. But up at the front, we got a nice battle. Anthony versus Zemini. Zemini still leading away for Monster Energy. And let's see if he can continue to keep that gap off of Anthony. Also, we got the two Fords, Kingsholm and Cork, as we have Nero leaving the session. That's unfortunate. Hopefully, he'll rejoin for the official 50% race, which will be the main race in today's amazing round one that we're having here today in Formula 4. Also, keep an eye on the driver's tires as well. Of course, they shouldn't have to make a pit stop, but a lot of these guys are choosing to go for an alternate strategy here. They're going mediums, some are going soft, some are going hards even, which is quite interesting as well. So that's going to affect pace. So we'll see how that all works out. It looks like we're heading in to about the halfway mark of this 18% or this 18 lap race. Ooh, Martin getting very close to Cork. Cork looking for the move to try and get past his teammate. He's going to try and go for it. To the outside line we go. As Anthony and Zemini battling it out as well. Looks like Anthony has to back out of that one. Kingsholm keeps ahead of his teammate for now. Now, I wouldn't fight too much, guys, because you guys are teammates, and you got to make sure you keep Martin behind, who's absolutely flying in that Toyota car. He's right behind the two Fords here. So Kingsholm currently ahead of Cork, and Martin right behind those two Fords as well. King David 2/10 behind Martin in that Monster Energy cars are looking pretty good as Martin makes a little mistake off of turn 10. It looked like he just went a little too wide, and Cork is right in the back of Kingsholm. He's actually going to try and go for it. Here it goes. No, he's going to back off. He slots right in between. That is the Monster Energy car. King David going a little bit wide. I wonder if maybe he made a little mistake, but here comes Anthony on Zemini. He has taken it. Anthony has done it. He has taken the lead of the 18-lap race here today. Zemini will have to fight back. He doesn't have enough speed, though. He does not have enough speed. It's Cork and Kingsholm side by side as well. Looks like Martin and King David trying to go side by side as well. It looks like Kingsholm will just barely get ahead. King David and Martin side by side. Martin goes a little bit wide and has to back out of that one. As it looks like all three Toyotas now join each other out on track as well. Martin, Brad, and Blades, all 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. And it looks like Cork has still scored. Wait, I pronounced that completely different. Sorry. Cork in the Ford is right in the back of Kingsholm. As we have another Ford struggling, it looks like. It looks like that might be Shug's Life in the other Ford spinning off at turn 8. That corner is proving to be very difficult in today's race. This one and turn 3 is a very difficult corner to get right. As it looks like King David and Court are having a nice battle. King David maybe trying to make not one, but possibly two. He's going to go for it. Kingsholm defends. King David Oh, a little bit of stake on the braking there. King David has to back off, and he will get down to 4th. And Keensholm will have the DRS, but look at this battle we're seeing right here for P3 in the race. It looks like Court is now trying to overtake the Monster Energy car. Is Court going to get ahead? Oh, Keensholm just having to go a little wide as King David makes a mistake. Oh, and there's major contact between 3 different drivers there. Keensholm and King David and Court, and I think Martin as well. All 4 got caught up in that. That was not the best situation right there, and unfortunately, all 3 made contact, and oh, Keensholm, or sorry, not Keensholm, but King David. David has been put in the wall, I think, or no, maybe he just went a little too wide. I think he had damage, maybe that was affecting his race pace, and unfortunately went a little too wide, maybe caught another car out on track. Not exactly sure, but it looks like the Toyotas are coming into the pit lane. Martin in the number 8 Toyota coming into the pit lane, same with Blades in the 2nd Toyota. And he is coming into the pit lane for a set of mediums, where looks like Martin's going into the pit lane for a set of softs. But this has really affected the outcome of today's race, as we have a nice battle between Reese Boy and Lewis. Reese Boy gets ahead just for now. That was good overtaking there by the Ford driver. He puts himself up into the top 8 now. Lewis isn't going to be in this position up anytime soon, though, as it looks like Court and Keensholm continue their battle there. Keensholm continues to stay ahead, though. This is great battling between the 2 Ford teammates here, as they'll continue their battle. Looks like Lewis, and it looks like Limes, and maybe... Wait, who else was in that battle? It was Reese Boy, Lewis, and Limes, I do believe. It's Zemeni's coming into the pit lane. He has chosen to come in a little bit early. Maybe to pit onto the softs. Maybe this is the pit window. I'm not really sure on what the pit stops are for an 18-lap race. I usually know the information for the 50% race, but not too much about the 25% race. But it looks like Court and Zemeni have come into the pit lane. Is that the right call to pit on to the softs at this stage? Yeah, I'd say so. I guess so. I mean, you have to pit at some point, so I guess now would be the time to do so. So Zemeni comes out in clear air, 3.6 seconds separating Lewis and himself. And then we got Court in the Ford in P10 right now, right in the back of the, I do believe that's a reserve driver. Yes, that is a reserve. As it looks like Court will just about get ahead. Possibly he's got the DRS assisted, and he's going to go around the outside and get the move done. So Court moves himself up into P9, and he's right behind his teammate now. As it looks like Anthony will come into the pit lane. Now, this is going to be really close between Zemeni and Anthony, because what's happened here is that Zemeni has pulled the undercut strategy on his rival. So Anthony, now pitting for the soft compound tires, maybe Zemeni might have just got the advantage off of pitting a little bit earlier on. Let's see how this all works out. Here comes Anthony. There he is, coming out of the pit lane now. Who's gonna get ahead? Oh, it's gonna be insanely close. They're side by side. Oh my goodness, they're side by side. This is effectively for the race lead. As we head down into turn 3, this is great battling between the two. This worked out beautifully for Zemeni. But will he keep ahead of his rival? It looks like it. He does. But Anthony has got the straight line speed and the DRS to help assist him to try and re-overtake his rival. And you know what has happened? He's done it. Anthony moves himself up into P5. Zemeni now down to P6. And this is, like I said, effectively for the race lead. So the reserve driver now moves himself up into 5th, and Zemeni moves himself... Oh, no! Oh, no! Reese Boy! Oh, no, this is horrible! We got a first-hand glimpse of that, but this is absolutely carnage happening as Anthony is out of the race! No way has that just happened! No way! A safety car has been called out yet again. But Anthony has just retired from the Grand Prix. It was looking so well for the reserve driver, but it looked like Reese Boy spun and was in the middle of the track right on the racing line. And it looks like Anthony had no time to react, to move out of the way of that reserve driver. Now that puts Mini back into provisional race lead basically, but wow, has that changed the outcome of the race? This was going so well for Anthony, and to be honest, it looked to be not his fault at all. He had really no time to react, to move out of the way, and the thing is with that corner, guys, is when you're turning, you can't really stop turning. The only way to stop turning would be to steer into the gravel, and even that, I mean, that could end your race as well. I don't know what happened exactly, but it looks like Anthony didn't have any reaction time to move out of the way of the Ford car that spun off there. That is super unfortunate, but they'll come back in the 50% race. That's what's great about this mini 25% race. While it is a race, it's not the official race. We still have a second race after this. So the sprint race that we have right here is not the end, which is great. So what this has done is allowed Brad, Flea, and Lewis to come into the pit lane. So the Toyota team, the Porsche team, and the Bentley team have all decided to pit all three of their drivers, which is going to move them into effectively the race lead. This is absolutely perfect for the three drivers there. Court will move himself up into second place, Kingsholm into third. This is beautiful for the Ford drivers here today, as both of them are in for some really good positions. Of course, like I mentioned previously, there is no points being scored for this particular race, but that doesn't matter. What I'm talking about is all these drivers, whatever position they finish in today's race, will start the Grand Prix in that position. So if Ford finish 1-2 in today's race, or even second and third as it stands right now, this will be perfect for them because they're going to get a top 4 start for 2 of their drivers, which could be incredible, but anything can happen in a Grand Prix. So who knows? We'll see how this all works out. But unfortunately, this does mean that Z Mini probably doesn't have a chance of winning this 25% race. He will probably not start on pole position after what happened with Anthony and Reese Boy, if I'm not mistaken. So that's affected the race results a little bit, of course, as the two main contenders for starting P1 and P2 are basically out of contention. One of them out of the Grand Prix, literally, and the other one down in P7, which, of course, is not where you want to be. So it looks like the second Toyota will lead us away. This is great to see this, as well as the number 2 Toyota will most likely lead the Grand Prix unless there's a spin or something like that, which is highly unlikely. But Brad, who we were riding on board with in the one-shot qualifying session, has been doing a great race. He started, I think, P7 or P8. Let me quickly get that information out on screen. He started in P6. So it's been a really good start for Brad in today's race. He's now currently leading the Grand Prix with just about 3 laps to go. The safety car will most likely come into the pit lane this lap, so we'll get 3 laps of racing around the Red Bull Ring, which will be great to see. Everyone is on the soft compound tires except Blades in the 3rd Toyota, currently in 9th. He is on 4-lap-old medium compound tires. Also, another driver to keep an eye on, as well as the reserve driver in 6th position. So Snooker in the reserve car has 12-lap-old soft compound tires, which is not ideal. But of course, we just have 3 laps remaining, so it shouldn't affect too much. But he's got to defend against a lot of quick drivers who are on faster compound tires, Zimini being one of them, and the driver who qualified second and was battling for the race lead pretty much the entire Grand Prix. So that might be a little bit hard, but defending is critical for around here, and it is something that is very difficult to do because there's so many different places to make an overtake, so many DRS availability spots. So we'll see how this all works out. But it looks like the safety car is coming in this lap. Brad will lead us away. He's weaving those tires, making sure he's got temperature in them, ready to go. And he's going to go now. He decides to go now and gets a pretty good start off of Court there. Gets 5/10 off of his rival. Court will have a pretty good start, though, and will be able to try and... Oh, that is, I do believe, Reese Boy in the wall. What happened there? Did he spin off of turn 10? It kind of looks like it. Looks like Limesky as well in the pit lane. Not exactly sure what happened there, but it looks like Lewis making a move, as also that's, I think, Battle Zemini. Oh, is they're going for a nice little battle here for P6. Lewis gets ahead. Zemini gets into P7. And then we got the reserve down in P8. Blades in P9. And it looks like Shug's Life in the Ford in P10. So a great battle for 6th forming right now, as it looks like that is the Ford trying to make a move on the Toyota. Blades and Shug's Life side by side, possibly. Ooh, a little bit of wheel banging there. Oh, and Shug's Life is put into the gravel. Looks like that contact with the Toyota must have affected his race there, or affected his corner. And unfortunately, that put him into the gravel. He's going to have to recover from that one. That's unfortunate, of course. As it looks like yellow flag, that might be Reese Boy, not exactly sure. But it is Brad that leads us away. He got a beautiful turn one there. My goodness, that was absolutely brilliant from Brad. He did a great turn one there, and he's just got to keep doing that for the next lap, actually. There's only one lap remaining after this one. So, yeah, Brad looking pretty good. Oh, it looks like he made a little mistake because he went a little wide and went a little off the racing line. That might invite Court to try and make the move. He's also got Kingsholm and Flea in the Porsche. Back up into the top four. Great to see Porsche up there. And the number 13 Porsche is now trying to make a move for the top three in today's race. Can the Porsche team join the Toyotas and the Fords to start in the top three in today's 50% race? We will find out if Flea will be able to do so, or will it be Martin possibly up there as well. Will it be two Fords in the top threes? Oh, Flea makes a little mistake off of turn 8. He went in the grass a little bit there, but it's all good. But will it be two Fords in the top three? Will it be two Toyotas in the top three? Or will it be a Porsche joining the Fords and the Toyotas? We will find out. Meanwhile, the other two teams, Bentley and Monster Energy, are also battling for position. Lewis and Zemini are going for a nice little battle here. It looks like Martin is trying to make a move on Flea as well. Looks like Kingsholm is trying to make the move on his teammate Court. It looks like Martin's going to send it on Flea. He goes a little bit wide, though. That invites Flea to retake the position, and he's up into there. Oh, that's Brad! No! The race leader! Brad! No way! This is horrible for Brad, the race leader. Another incident has just happened. Kingsholm takes the lead of the Grand Prix, but it's not over yet because Court is coming back. These two are fighting for the final position in today's race. Who will start on board? Will it be Kingsholm? Will it be Court? Will it be Flea or Martin as well? But this is absolutely a devastation for Brad, who's now been disqualified from the session. This is chaos on the final lap of the 18-lap race here today. Kingsholm, out of nowhere, comes around the final corner to start on pole for the first race in Formula 4. Kingsholm is the winner of the sprint race here today. It is a Ford 1-2. They start P1 and P2. What an incredible race it has been for the two Ford drivers. It is also Flea that joins those two drivers in the top three for Porsche. What a recovery drive it was for Porsche. Flea and BKS make it two Porsches in the top 5, two Fords in the top 5, and one Toyota in the top 5. What a race, guys. Absolutely crazy stuff happening there. It was so many different drivers in the race lead, and then unfortunate situations happen to them. Maybe a spin, or maybe some contact with another driver. We had Daisy number 1 fan in the race lead for a little bit. Looks like he spun and unfortunately was out of the Grand Prix. Then we had, who was it? Anthony in the race lead, contact with Reese Boy, who spun a little bit earlier on. And then it looked like Brad was going to win it, but then on the final lap, a spin-off turn 3 just unfortunately ruined that chance for him to win it. But that's how it goes in today's race. So it is not over, though, because we head into the official 50% race where the points are scored for today's Grand Prix. Kingsholm and Court will line up P1 and P2 for the Ford team. What an incredible start it is for Ford, but can they keep it going into the 50% race? We will find out. Flea is in P3 with Martin in 4th, setting the fastest lap as well, and BKS in the second Ford, making it a two Fords in the second Porsche, making it two Porsches in the top 5. Wow, absolutely incredible. What an incredible race that was. A lot of action, of course. There was a lot of things happening in that 18-lap race, but we head into the 50% race. So many numbers, guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting it mixed up there, but yeah, we're heading into the official race. Should be around 36 laps, and then we're gonna head into the next round after that. But wow, guys, it's gonna be an incredible show. So thank you so much for watching so far. I know there was a lot of people that came into the live stream, which was amazing to see, of course. So thank you very much. If you guys would like, please send this out to your friends and see if they'd like to watch this. We'd like to try and get everyone to subscribe to the channel. That would be much appreciated, of course. As I had mentioned earlier on, we are on the road to 200 subscribers here at the LFR YouTube channel. And I think if my mind is correct about this one, we are 2 subscribers away from 170 subscribers, so that'd be great if you guys can get that. And if you're enjoying the stream so far, like this video. If you're interested in seeing what I do as a person, you guys can check me out on social media. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, all those social medias really. So just type in Formula Jonah. You can also subscribe to that channel as well. Also, I wanted to mention before we move on that LFR also has 2 other divisions. This is the 3rd division, actually, of LFR. So just want to let you guys know that we have the racing on Mondays and Tuesdays as well. And I do believe there was 2 live streams for that, and that's on the LFR YouTube channel. You guys can go check that out. It would be really appreciated if you guys can do that. Also, I do believe there was some highlights videos that came out for those 2 previous Grand Prix, so that would be great if you guys can check that out as well. I watched those, they were brilliant, so yeah, definitely go check those out as well. But anyway, moving on, we are heading in to the 50% race. It is 36 laps of absolute action out on track. We're gonna get non-stop action. We're gonna get non-stop overtaking. We're gonna get non-stop racing from every single one of these drivers. What's going on right now? You're probably wondering what's going on, why we're in the loading screen. Well, so how this works is that our admins that are running the lobby right now are setting the grid for the 50% race. It shouldn't take long, max of 5-10 minutes or something like that. So, yeah, it wouldn't take long at all. So, just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and keep joining the live stream, and just keep watching, because we got a lot of action to come your way from the LFR stream here today. The Austrian Grand Prix, it is going to be, we had our sprint race, which we had a lot of action in that one. Of course, no points being scored for that, but things could change, of course, in future races, because, of course, we're going to be having we're gonna have a reverse grid. I think that's what these guys are calling it, is a reverse grid, and that's gonna be points for the sprint race, if I'm not mistaken. So it's gonna be a lot to go into, guys. There's a lot of fun things happening with this special tier for the Formula 4 Championship on Thursday, of course. And of course, I didn't really mention this too much. We kind of were rushing to get through to the racing action, of course. But we do have different teams from the normal Ferraris, Mercedes, Red Bull, from the normal 10 teams, and 20 drivers from the official F1 2021 game. So what we have is we have Porsche, Ford, Toyota, Monster Energy, and Bentley. All teams are extremely amazing. I have witnessed the drivers, of course, driving. We have witnessed an incredible race, of course, and it's just going to get better from here. We also have some incredible liveries from these guys as well, so shout out to all those guys that made the liveries for these cars. I mean, they're brilliant. Every single one of those cars are absolutely brilliant. It just sparks that car, you know. I mean, like, you got the blue Ford, that is traditionally Ford's color. You got the black Porsche as well, which Porsche are usually black or white or red, and then you got Toyota, which is that red, that's that nice like matte red kind of thing, beautiful car. And then we got the green, the neon green of the Monster Energy team. We also have the grayish Bentley team as well, which is amazing to see that as well. So it's just going to be great to see how this all works out. But we got 20 seconds. It looks like the drivers are readying up, so that means that we're ready to go for the 50% race here today, and we're ready to get the racing back underway for the LFR stream here today. This is the Formula 4 Championship, and we're starting things off with the Austrian Grand Prix here at the Red Bull Ring. Actually, quick facts about this track, if you guys don't mind. We have a very interesting track, which has hosted many different Formula 1 races. As I mentioned, it's got 10 turns, of circuit length of 4.3 kilometers, that's 2.6 miles, and 3 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking. 1 down the pit straight, that you can see right there on your screen, and then 1 in between turn 1 and turn 3. That's up the hill at that really heavy braking zone, and that's going to be, we're going to see those drivers, actually right there, you can see it, that long straight right there, that's where we're going to see drivers hitting the max amount of speed of their car down to turn 3, the heavy braking zone. And then there's a third on the back stretch in between turn 3 and turn 4. And that's a great place to make an overtake as well, guys. It is a truly incredible track. But yes, wow. So I'm just looking at all these stats that we have for the Austrian Grand Prix. There's been a lot of incredible racing. But besides actually the racing here in the Red Bull Ring, as it is, oh my goodness, full rain. What I was going to say is there's a lot of great landscaping, a lot of great land, like with the mountains and stuff like that. There's a lot of amazing I mean, I don't even know how to explain it really. Just incredible mountains, incredible trees, you know, the weather is incredible as well. We get some rain as well. It is a beautiful place to be, the Styrian Mountains. I think the mountains are truly incredible. That's why I think a lot of people, when they talk about the Red Bull Ring, they talk about the landscape as well with the beautiful, beautiful mountains here in Austria. So, moving on, we will forget about the mountains, of course. We'll talk about the racing because we have rain out on track. We get our second rain event because, of course, we had our one-shot qualifying, but this looks to be a little bit more rain than the one-shot. It looks like everyone's starting on the wet compound tires. Oh, no, it's intermediates. It is intermediates for all these drivers out on track. So that is quite interesting. Of course, could we see a switch to the wet compound tires? You can see it coming down pretty fast. We could see the wets coming in a little bit later, or we could see drivers switching to the dry compound tires as well. We will find out how that all works out. Predicted pit stop strategy, a 2-stop is probably the better option, or it could be a 1-stop as well. I prefer to go to the 1-stop when you're on the intermediate compound tires, but conditions will most likely change as we progress into the Grand Prix, and so we'll see how that all works out when we get the racing underway. But anyway, let's go through the formation lap, and let's start things off by talking about those 2-4 drivers. Kingsholm starts on pole position for the first ever race here in Formula 4. He's got his teammate Kort in the second Ford, lining up alongside him, making it an all Ford 1-2. So we got the rest of the grid with Flea in the first of the Porsches, starting in P3 alongside Martin, splitting the 2 Porsches in the Toyota, lining up on the second row of the grid. We got BKS 93 in the second Porsche, lining up alongside the first of the Bentleys, Lewis F1 in the Bentley. And then we got the 2 Monster Energy cars on the fourth row of the grid. Zamini, who missed out on that win of the 18-lap race. Will he be able to get it in today's race? He's got his teammate King David lining up alongside him on the fourth row of the grid. Blades and Snooker in the Toyota and reserve team cars. They line up P9 and P10, and they will be on the fifth row of the grid. And then we got Shug's Life, Lames, and then we got Nem and Reese Boy, Anthony, Mr. Basil, number 1 fan, Tommy, and Brad rounding off the grid. Unfortunately, he missed out on that first win as well. Maybe could he do a last to first challenge? Could that be a possibility for Brad? Who knows? We will find out how that all works out, but I can tell you guys, we are in for an amazing race here today in LFR. We got so many different drivers out on the grid, so many talented drivers. I'm curious to see, will Ford lead us away? Will it be Porsche? Will it be Toyota? We will find out. Could the Monster Energy team and the Bentley team rise up the grid? We will find out in just a moment time. But we're ready to go for the first race here in this brand new season here in LFR. The fiver lights are out. And the racing gets underway with a pretty even start for the front 2. A really good start for Flea. A really good start for Martin as he makes the move up into second place now. He's trying to challenge Kingsholm down to turn 1. And it looks like Martin side by side with Kingsome from 4th on the grid. Court down to P4. Flea trying to get in the mix as well. It's a lot of drivers going side by side. Martin in the Toyota versus Kingsome in the Ford. Kingsome just barely gets ahead as it looks like a great battle all the way down to P8. And it looks like, oh, a little bit of contact possibly with Lamsky and number 1 fan. Not exactly sure what happened there. But it looks like Flea is now trying to join the party as well. It's a Porsche v Toyota versus Ford battle here. The 2 Monster Energy cars making their way through the field. King David now up at a P4. It is now 4 different drivers for 4 different teams in the top 4. This is great to see. Martin in the Toyota right now. Right in the back of Kingsome, coming down into turn 7 and turn 8. Kingsome keeping ahead for now. But Martin in that Toyota is right on the back. What an incredible start it was for the Toyota team. They must be cheering their driver on to take P1 from P4 on the grid. Martin right in the zone to take P1 in this Grand Prix. Kingsome not giving this one up anytime soon, though. He wants the first win of the season, and he's going to try and get that. But he sets the fastest lap of the race for the Ford team as he comes down to turn 1. Martin right behind as we come down into the 2nd lap of the Grand Prix. Flea a further 5/10ths behind the Toyota driver King David as well in that fight as we get a lot of rain on our screen right now. Martin right behind Kingsome, cannot make the move anytime soon, but he's going to try and make it. Probably on the exit of turn 3. He gets a very good exit compared to Kingsome. Kingsome a little bit didn't get the best of starts there, but Martin is looking for the move. This might be the best opportunity for him to make the move, but he cannot. Maybe going for the switchback maneuver, but both get pretty equal exits off of turn 4. Ooh, you can see a lot of rain coming off the back of those tires of Kingsome's Ford car, as both of them have very different lines coming through turn 5, but it is equal, of course. Martin right on the back of Kingsome, coming down into that very difficult turn 8. That is a very difficult corner to get completely right there. By the way, while we're focusing on these 2 battling for position, we also have Z-Mini making his way through the field. He got past Court, who did not have the best of starts. He's down to P6 from 2nd place in the Grand Prix. Same with BKS. He did not have the greatest starts either, as Martin sets the fastest lap of the race. Kingsome makes a mistake, though. Kingsome makes a mistake. Martin's going for it. Here he goes. He gets the better traction out of that section. Martin side by side with Kingsome. This is the best position, the best place for him to make the overtake. Kingsome is still side by side with his rival. Coming down into turn 3 we go. Is Martin going to get ahead? Is it Kingsome? They're still side by side. Who's going to get ahead? It's inches separating the top 2 as we head down into turn 4. Kingsome just a little bit further behind. Martin just has that car right ahead, but Kingsome's going to try and dance it round the outside of the Toyota, switching back to the onboard of the Toyota. They're still side by side, a little bit squirrely from the Ford driver off of turn 4, but they're still side by side coming down to turn 5. Martin just puts his car around the outside to take the position, but Kingsome comes back. Kingsome comes back. They're still side by side. Martin, it looks like he's going to keep the position, but no. Kingsome gets the better traction, and they're still side by side. They've been side by side for the entire lap itself. Kingsome and Martin side by side through turn 9. Are they going to make it side by side through turn 10? Yes, they are. I cannot believe this just happened, guys. We've had a 2-way fight for the entire lap 3, and now here comes Flea as well, trying to make the move on Kingsome. He cannot get past King David in the mix as well. Z-Mini trying to get in the mix, and Court as well. This is a 6-way fight for P1 in the Grand Prix. Martin eventually gets ahead, but what great racing truly that was. Kingsome now coming back at the Toyota. We get non-stop action, guys. We truly do. As Kingsome tries to make the overtake, but got a little bit too much of the power there. He had to back off. Martin keeps the position for now. Flea now has the ultra straight line speed and the better traction off that corner to try and make the move. Kingsome makes a mistake, though, and makes contact with Martin. He makes a little mistake, though. I think Kingsome just outbraked himself a little bit and unfortunately made contact with Martin there. And Kingsome unfortunately loses 2 positions there. That is not good for his chances of being on the podium here today and winning this Grand Prix. He now has to get past King David and Flea to try and get past us. Now he's actually under pressure from Z-Mini, who's coming back at the Ford driver. The Fords did not have the greatest start to the Grand Prix as they're down to P5 and P6. There's a little bit of contact between Z-Mini and Kingsome, but it's all good there. And remember, these guys are in the rain as well, so I cannot believe they're keeping up the action. We had a full lap, a side-by-side action in full rain conditions between Kingsholm and Martin. That was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I can never get enough of that. So we'll continue the battle. King David now try and make the move on the Porsche. Flea trying to defend. King David going for it, though. He sees the gap. He goes for a little bit of wheel banding between the two there. They're still side by side, and King David, he saw a gap and went for it. He's now trying to get the slipstream from the back of Flea's car. He's now going to try and go for it. Down the inside he goes. The Monster Energy car is going to try and get ahead. Ooh, a little bit of contact between the two. Just a little bit of wheel banding continuing, but that's okay. That's how it goes in racing. We're continuing this battle. It is great to see how this has all worked out, guys. And we'll continue to see this battle progress. All right, and it looks like we are just waiting for those drivers to maybe come into the pit lane to fit a different tire. I think that's kind of where we are in the stage of the Grand Prix. Everyone's kind of calmed down from the battling, but of course we are still getting battling, which is absolutely incredible to see, especially in these very difficult conditions, just showing that this tier is very strong in terms of just fighting and overtaking. You know, like the battling now on track is absolutely incredible. Ooh, Flea makes a little mistake though off of turn 1. That might invite Z-Mini to try and make the move on the Porsche driver. It doesn't look like he's going to make the move quite yet, but he's looking for it, but doesn't make the move. Smart decision. You know, you can't make the moves all the time. Ooh, Kingsholm. Ooh, it's a little bit difficult off that particular corner there. Looks like he was getting a lot of wheel spin in that Ford car. But it's all good there. No problems, of course. And it looks like Court in that Ford will maybe try and get past his teammate here. Will there be team orders? That is the question. I don't think so, but we'll find out. King David and Martin, though, the gap now is 3.3 seconds. That is massive between those two drivers. So Toyota and Monster Energy now have a pretty good gap between the two of them. We are now on lap 6. We have 30 laps remaining in the Grand Prix, so we are still very early on in this particular race. Flea in the Porsche. Ooh, we got a little bit wiggly off of turn 10 there. As that is Nem, I think, spinning off at turn 3. Let's catch up with that and see what happened there. Did he spin off at the third turn? It kind of looks like that. I think that's what happened there. But moving back on to the battle for second place, King David and Flea and Z-Mini continue their battle for second place in the Grand Prix. 4.4 seconds now separating Martin and David. This is very interesting to see how this is all working out. Martin really pushing that Toyota to the max right now, as Lewis in the Bentley is now trying to chase after BKS. Tommy in the other Porsche and number 1 fan. We have a nice battle between Porsche and Bentley forming right now. The two teams that are basically Volkswagen owned, of course, because Bentley and Porsche are both Volkswagen owned, are battling for position out on track. Tommy keeping ahead of number 1 fan, who's coming through the field after starting in the back of the field. He started on pole position for the Bentley team, or he started on pole for the 18 lap race, the sprint race, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it didn't quite go his way. He had to start at the back of the field, but he is making his way through the field pretty quickly now, so that is great to see. Moving up to the top of the field, Martin has just set the fastest lap of the race, and you can see why, because he's now got a 5.4 second gap to King David now. He is just really pushing that Toyota to the max and really just gaining time on his rivals. It is great to see. As Lewis and BKS now swap positions, the Bentley moves himself up into 7th. You can see that beautiful silver and dark green livery. Just going past that a beautiful black and gold livery for the Porsche team, of course. Tommy in that Porsche right behind as well. Same with Daisy, number 1 fan. Number 1 fan getting close to Tommy and BKS. Anthony in the reserve team also making his way through the field after what happened to him in the previous Grand Prix. It didn't quite go well for him in that race, but that's okay. That's how it goes. And we will move on from that. All right, so the gap has now grown to 5.4 seconds between Martin and King David. That is probably our biggest story out on track right now. We'll say because Mini and Flea are continuing their battle for third position in today's race. Down into turn 1 we go. Mini right behind Flea. Flea keeping ahead for now. Keen's home 9/10 behind these two, as it looks like the rain is starting to kind of die down. We may get into the dry conditions just in a little bit. We'll find out how that all works out. I'm excited to see what happens, because there is a possibility that we might move into the dry tires. And if that's the question, oh, actually, you know what? It stopped raining. It just stopped raining. I think we could see people possibly pitting for the dry. Oh, that's surprising. We're getting rain now. But then, yeah, rain in Sector 2. No rain in Sector 1. That is very surprising. Unless there's a glitch out on screen, not exactly sure. But we'll find out in just a little bit of time if these drivers do pit for the dry compound tires. There's a possibility that they might. Moving on, Z-Mini in the Monster Energy, I think, is the closest battle. Himself and Flea are battling for third in today's race. And I think that is our closest battle right now, as Flea's trying to keep ahead. We'll get telemetry. Oh, is that his Tommy out? And now I think he is spun off at turn 10. That is a full core safety car that has been deployed. And now what do these drivers do? Wow, this has really affected the result, because now, to be honest, I mean, look at the skies right now. There is not too much rain. You do not see any, spray coming off of the back of those tires there. Because that's the thing, guys, is that when DRS is enabled, that's the final confirmation. But another way you can tell if it's time for the dry tires is if, of course, there's no rain out on track, if it's not raining. And another thing would be if there's no spray coming off the back of the tires. If there's no spray, like what's happening right now, then it is time for the dries. But right here, it starts raining, which is very surprising. I'm not exactly sure why. But that's the case. And something else I quickly want to mention as well, guys, is that all these guys, since this is a custom liveries, custom cars, all that sort of thing, they are all in different pit boxes. So you could see, like, maybe, I don't know, King David and Martin, both of them are in the same pit garage. It's just kind of how it works. It's just the way it goes. As everyone comes into the pit lane, making sure they stay in that line, it can be very confusing how to enter the pit lane at this particular track, because you have to enter it kind of before you get into the pit box. As Martin, I'm expecting a few drivers to possibly get a 5-second penalty when they enter the pit lane just because of these tires, but actually no, they have not. This is very surprising. As looks like everyone's coming to the pit lane. King David onto the softs, which is very surprising. And Keenston as well onto the soft compound tires. He'll come on P5. It looks like everyone is coming out. Who's just gone past? Was that might have been Nem. I think that is Nem. Or possibly, yeah, I think that's Nem in the Porsche. Yeah, that is Nem. He was coming around. But Martin will be coming out on the medium. Same with Flea. King David, meanwhile, and same with Kingsholm, are out on the softs. Now, what strategy could they be going for? Most likely, they're going to go for a soft and medium. That's probably what they're going to do. For all the drivers on the mediums, they're probably going to go medium soft, or they might be able to take these mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. But here's the problem, guys. It's because this track is slowly changing into the dry compound tires and to the dry conditions. That means that drivers are still going to be struggling out on track because there's going to be a lot of puddles out on track. Of course, right now, it looks pretty dry out on track. But there might be a few puddles, and that might affect tire wear because these drivers might get a little bit of they might, I don't know. The thing is that they might get a little bit of degradation on those tires, and that's going to be a little bit difficult. So they might have to pit. I don't know, because the thing is, guys, is that when you pit for the mediums in a traditional Grand Prix, you usually pit for them for around lap 15, lap 16, somewhere around there. So it might be a little bit difficult for these drivers to try and take these mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. They may try and go for those mediums to softs deliberately, or they might try and just go mediums to the end. That's a possibility as well. But what's happened, guys, is because the rain has gone away, and now we have the dry compound tires on track. We now have the dry conditions. This does mean that we're going to get a lot more overtakes. We're going to get a lot more action, and it's going to be great to see, guys. I cannot wait to see what these guys can do. Currently, Toyota lead the Grand Prix with Porsche in second, the two Monster Energy cars in P3 and P4, and the two Fords in P5 and P6. So it's looking pretty good for everyone, and we're just waiting to see when the safety car goes in. It will probably go in at the end of this lap, and then we'll get the racing underway here for the first round in Formula 4. All right. So Martin leading us away has done a brilliant job so far, but that, of course, was in the rain conditions. So we could see a different driver. Maybe Martin put on a wet setup, and maybe he's going to try and maybe he won't have the same amount of pace that he had in the wet. So we'll see how this all works out. It looks like the safety car is going to go out for another lap. So we'll wait one more lap, and then we'll get the racing underway. Lap 13, these drivers will get the racing underway, and we'll see some brilliant action out on track. Reese Boy comes into the pit lane as he was on the intermediate compound tires. Do believe he's pitting for the softs or the mediums, most likely the mediums. We will find out. Actually, let's find out right now. He is pitting for the mediums. So he's definitely going for the same strategy that most everyone's going for. So that's good to see, of course. I don't know how the strategy is going to work out, guys, because drivers might go medium-soft, they might go medium, and for all those drivers on the soft, they might go soft-medium. That's probably what they're going to go for. Unless they go for some crazy strategy of going soft, hard, or soft. Actually, they could go soft. They won't go soft-hard because soft-hard is not really the best strategy for around here, especially when you're so late into the race already. So these drivers that are on the soft compound tires, they definitely have to pit again. The question is, what tire do they pit for? Most likely the softs or the mediums. If they do pit for the soft, they're going to have to stretch these particular compound tires for a long while. Probably to around lap 24? Probably lap 24, lap 23, somewhere around there. In between lap 20 and lap 25, somewhere around there. So, yeah, we'll see how this all works out. But there is a lot of action to come in the remaining laps of the first ever LFR Formula 4 race here on Thursday. It has been a brilliant race so far. It has been great to see these new cars, of course, with the 5 new teams and the totally different format. It is great to commentate on this. It's great to commentate on this for the first time. But anyway, Martin gets underway. He goes a little bit earlier than expected. He now has a pretty good gap to Flea, though. Flea's actually... Oh, whoa, what's happened here? Flea's just got past. Martin slowed down. Martin's going to try and go side by side with Flea. I wonder what happened there, but this is clean racing right here. As Flea and Martin side by side. It looks like King David trying to go side by side as well. Possibly 3 wide between all these guys. King David looking for the move as Flea is going free. Here comes also Z-Mini as well. Ooh, this is so close between all 4 of these guys. Flea and Martin still side by side. The 2 Monster Energy cars trying to get in the mix as well. Are they going to try and go make this 3 wide? They might try and do this. Let's see. Ooh, it's so close to contact, but these guys keep it going. And this is brilliant racing. Porsche versus Toyota versus Monster Energy for the race lead. We also have the 2 Fords in the battle as well. But it is basically a 3-way fight for P1 of today's race. Flea does take the lead for Porsche. Porsche now lead the Grand Prix. Martin in the Toyota looking to come back at the Porsche. And let's see if the Porsche will be able to keep ahead. Flea right ahead of that Toyota. Will he continue to lead away? Let's see. Martin's got some straight line speed, though. He's got some ridiculous straight line speed. That is amazing to see. He must be running a pretty low downforce setting. Oh no! I think Martin chose the line that wasn't the greatest. It looks like maybe Flea and Martin made contact there, and unfortunately Martin just went on the curb, and unfortunately just didn't work out for him, and unfortunately Z-Mini got caught up in that as well. I think he may have damage, unfortunately, and it looks like Martin is down to P13, may have damage as well. That has really hurt their race. There goes King David on Flea. That is allowed King David to get in the mix as well. Oh, Flea got a little bit squirrely off of that turn 4 there. King David now takes the lead for Monster Energy. We've had so many different teams leading the Grand Prix. We've had Ford, we've had Toyota, we've had Porsche, we've had Monster Energy now. Could we see Bentley now leading the Grand Prix? I mean, Lewis is up there. He's up in the top 5. We could see all 5 teams leading the Grand Prix at the end of this race. This is going to be incredible to witness. So now that that has happened, now that the crash between Martin Flea and the Mini has happened, this does mean that this promotes the 2 Fords up into 3rd and 4th, and this gives them a really good opportunity to try and make an overtake on these guys. Now, Flea has got the DRS. He's going to try and catch up to King David. He's gaining. King David defends the inside line. Flea's going for the outside. Oh, he outbreaks himself a little bit there. That might invite Kingsholm to get past, and he does. Kingsholm gets ahead, and he puts himself up into 2nd place. Is he going to make not 1, but possibly 2 overtakes? Kingsholm going for King David, defending the inside. Kingsholm's going for it. King David just about gets ahead, though. Kingsholm let him pass. He knew that there wasn't enough speed to go. There wasn't enough time to make the overtake on that particular run. Flea was looking for the move, but King David just about gets ahead and keeps that position. Remember, Flea, Flea, try to make the overtake on Kingsholm. Kingsholm got a pretty bad exit out of that particular section there. But, you know, Flea, he is on the medium compound tires. Same with pretty much everyone down to 9th, where Kingsholm and King David are going to be on different tire compounds. This is going to be very interesting to see how this works out here. We will find out as, Kingsholm looks like he was outbreaking himself, but he saved it. It was all good there. So now he's going to have the DRS on King David. He's going to try and make the overtake. He's got the DRS. He's gaining a lot of time on the Monster Energy car. He's not going to make the overtake quite yet because there's not enough space, but he has the straight line speed. He has the pace. Oh, what happened there? Flea. Oh, no, it's Flea. What happened to Flea? Oh, no. Something happened to Flea there. Not exactly sure, but he's down to P14 now. The driver that was in P3. It was going so well for Flea. He's down to P14 now. This isn't going well. Oh, as Martin goes a little bit wide there. I think he's struggling possibly with wing damage from the contact with the wall and the contact with Flea. Oh, it's Reese Boy and number 1 fan got pretty close to contact there, but it was all good though. As number 1 fans got damaged. That's what's going on. That's why number 1 fan's struggling to come off the exits there. As, oh my goodness, we have a nice little battle here for P5 in today's race. Who's going to get ahead? Is it... Oh, Lewis has got damage. Same with Anthony, I do believe. What happened there? Not exactly sure what happened there. But Limesky now moves himself up into P5. That's great to see. Brad is now into 4th from... Oh, no! Brad spins it! He got too much on the exit of turn 1. He spins it. It was going really well, and it just didn't work out at the end. No way! Brad, he's going to have to come back from this one there. Oh, he's got wing damage too. This has really, really hurt his race. It is not going good. But what has happened is now the entire top 7 is all Monster Energy and Ford cars. Huh. Wow. Okay. So this has really affected the end results. This could give Ford and Monster Energy a huge lead in the Constructors' Championship. So we'll find out how that all works out. But right now, I think Court has actually got the best chance of taking the race lead, because the thing is he's on the medium compound tires, unless Kingsholm and King David make just continue to extend that gap off of Court and Limesky. We'll find out how that works out. Shug's Life in the Ford as well as joining the party. Same with Reese Boy. The Ford's going really well. All 4 in the top 6. This is going really well for them right now. If they continue what they're doing right now, they'll surely get some really good points. And most likely will lead the Constructors' Championship. I think the only team that can really take that away from them at this current moment is Monster Energy. But we'll find out how that all works out. It looks like Shug's Life and Reese Boy are having a little battle here. It looks like Shug's Life goes a little bit wide there. Unfortunately, that affected his run to try and overtake Reese Boy, but he is gaining a lot of time. He's going to try and go for the move, possibly. Reese Boy defends the inside line. Shug's Life going for the switchback maneuver, trying to get the better exit off of that corner. Remember, he is on the soft compound tires, where Reese Boy is on the medium. Shug's Life down the inside. He was looking for the move, but could not make the move on Reese Boy. Reese Boy keeps ahead for now. and he will keep that position. Mr. Basil now is trying to make the move on these guys as well. Blades in the Toyota now joins the party as well, so great to see him back in the action. Toyota only have one car in top 10, so it's not looking the greatest for the Toyota team, but that's how it goes right now. They will move on. Limesky in the Monster Energy running a pretty good race. We haven't seen him too much in the race here today, but he is running in the top 4 and possibly could be battling for the win in today's race, actually. So we'll see how that all works out. Another thing I want to mention is penalties. We haven't taken a look at this too much, because the thing is, guys, is that Austria, you don't get a lot of penalties, I would say, unless you want to, unless you go a little bit wide at turn 1, that's a penalty zone. But what's happened is that Court and Limesky both have 3-second time penalties. Same with Shug's Life has 6 seconds, and Mr. Basil has 3 seconds as well, and then a few other drivers below the top 10. So penalties could come into effect of today's race. We could see, this is a possibility, we could see Reese Boy winning the Grand Prix. Because currently, Keen David and Keensholm both have to still pit in this race. And currently, Reese Boy is the only driver that doesn't have penalties in the top 7, besides those 2 drivers that are leading the Grand Prix. But like I mentioned, they have to pit. Oh, Reese Boy just got a penalty. Oh no. Oh, I just jinxed that. I'm so sorry. But all good. Limesky has just been overtaken by Reese Boy. So Reese Boy puts himself up into P4. He still has a good chance of winning this Grand Prix. We will see how that all works out. But what's happened is that now we have Fords in P2, P3, and P4. It's looking really good for the Ford team right now. Same with Monster Energy, as I have mentioned. Also, Blades in... Oh, there goes Flea. What a move. What a move. That was brilliant from the Porsche. That was absolutely brilliant. Oh, that's King David. King David has spun it off of turn 8. The race leader has spun it. And that has affected their end result of today's race, because King David has spun at the exit of turn 8. And that has basically ruined his chances of winning the Grand Prix. It is now a Ford 1-2, as it was at the start of today's race. King David, this is not really working out for the Monster Energy team right now. But King David did spin, and he's going to have to pit again. Ooh, it's going to be really hard to recover from that one, but he can do it. We know King David can do it. He's got the pace, he's got the speed, he's a very quick driver, very talented driver as well. So he's got the pace, he's got the ability to try and just really make the overtakes and get ahead. So we'll see how this all works out. But we have a lot more to go in this race. There's a lot more action to come as Flea's making the move on Mr. Basil. Here we go. Flea up at a 7th place. He's making his recovery drive after that little incident at turn 3. It looks like he went off and unfortunately was off the track, lost a lot of positions, and now he moves himself up into P7. Now, Flea's actually got a really good shot at winning this Grand Prix as well, because he is the only driver besides the soft compound runners in P1, P3 that doesn't have a penalty. So Flea could be winning this Grand Prix for Porsche. We could see Porsche taking the race victory here today, but he's just got to make sure he keeps it consistent, doesn't get a penalty, yeah, we'll see how this all works out. We do have 23 laps into the Grand Prix. We have 9, wait, hold on. I did that completely wrong. We have 19 laps remaining of the race, as we have Limesky and Shug's Life making their battle right now. Shug's Life gets ahead and puts himself up into the top 5. It is all 4 cars in the top 5. That is an achievement right there. Pretty impressive from Ford. As Reese Boy and King David continue their battle. Ooh, Reese Boy outbrakes himself there. Almost hit the back of King David. Thank goodness King David turned, and also Reese Boy also avoided that one as well. That would have been disaster for the both of them, actually. Thank goodness Reese Boy didn't go into the back there. So that's all good. As it looks like Flea's starting to gain a little bit of time on Limesky. 2.2 seconds now to the Monster Energy car. Ooh, we lost a little bit of time, though. He's down to 2.3 seconds now, but that'll fluctuate every once in a while. We are now entering lap 24. Kingsholm starts the 24th lap of the Grand Prix. Now, his tires are going to be screaming at him to come into the pit lane. I think those softs are going to be wearing down quite a bit, I think, right now. I mean, those softs have been wearing down for quite a bit, unless he's been conserving those tires like a legend, and that's a definite thing that can happen. I think Kingsholm, he might be able to take those softs. Oh, is that a Zemini out of the race? I think he's retiring in the pit lane, though. So it shouldn't bring out any virtual safety cars or anything like that. As Reese Boy and King David continue their battle as well. King David gets ahead. Reese Boy in P4. So they'll continue their battle for third place in today's particular Grand Prix. It looks like Blades and Mr. Basil continuing their battle as well. Blades will get up into P8. Mr. Basil in P9 now. As that is the Toyota, I think, of Martin, who has just come into the pit lane. I think he might be retiring. Not exactly sure. As there goes Kingsholm into the pit lane. He has chosen to come into the pit lane. So those tires were definitely not being the best of tire compound. So that is actually now this is the question. This is what I'm thinking, guys, is where will Kingsholm come out? Will he come out behind the I think he actually is. I think he's going to come out behind Anthony in the reserve car. I was curious to see if he was going to come out behind him or ahead of him. I think he's going to come out right behind Anthony. So that's not going to be the best situation because he's going to be stuck in a little bit of traffic here. But it shouldn't affect too much in today's particular Grand Prix. So this is also interesting. Flea has joined the party. He's now put himself up into P5 and now has a 6/10 gap to Limesky in the Monster Energy car. So Limesky in the Monster Energy will look to keep Flea behind in that Porsche, but Flea has got no penalties and he's looking to win this Grand Prix. Now currently, let's take a look at the leaders right now, the leaderboard. Currently, Flea has a 5.6 second gap to Court. Now, he has to get past Limesky. He's actually coming into the pit lane, so, and same with Reese Boy as well. Actually, this is actually perfect for Flea. Now, he puts himself up into second place now. Well, actually third, because King David will most likely come into the pit lane, and then he has, now what Flea has to do is he has to just push. He has to push that car to the absolute maximum to try and gain the amount of time he needs. He has to make sure he doesn't get a penalty, and he has to make sure he gains around 3 seconds to Court, which is definitely possible, but he has to make sure he does that. Otherwise, Court is going to win this Grand Prix. So will it be Ford winning? Will it be Porsche winning? Or will it be another team winning? We will find out in a few moments' time. I do believe Kingsholm might have just gotten a penalty. He's side by side with Anthony, I do believe. He just got past Anthony, so that's good. He's on fresh, new, soft compound tires. So that's good. Actually, no, he did. Wait, no, he did get a penalty. He got a 3-second time penalty. So he's now got to gain. If he's going to win this Grand Prix, he's got to gain 13 seconds and probably a little bit more. That is Court into the pit lane. Court's coming in the pit lane. Okay, that's quite interesting. I wonder if these medium compound runners are choosing to go for the softs. I think they are, actually. So this is quite interesting. This is a really good strategy, actually, by Court, because now he's going to get the undercut, and he might just about pass Flea, unless Flea decides not to pit, which is definitely a possibility. But he's going to come out behind the two Bentleys, number 1 fan and Lewis, in P7 and P8. Court will come out behind these two. So that's going to hurt his race a little bit now. Number 1 fan and Lewis having their great battle for P7 right now. Lewis is going to try and make the move on number 1 fan. So while we were taking a look at Court's situation, we are witnessing a nice battle for P7 as the two Bentleys are going with. Oh, there goes Court. He's made the move. Wow, okay. That was a pretty surprising maneuver, but I mean, it worked out, actually. I did not see him right there. I thought he was really far behind. But he was right there, so that's good to see. So now he's going to try and make the move on number 1 fan, try and get ahead of that Bentley car. We will find out how that all works out in just a moment's time. So we'll see. But Shug's Life and King David most likely have to come into the pit lane in the next 2 laps, unless those tires are most likely going to pop. I wish we had tire percentage. That would be really beneficial for the spectators' screen, but unfortunately this game does not have that. maybe in 2022 we will get that for the F1 game. We'll see how that all works out. Blades and Mr. Basil having a nice battle as well, as we have Court and number 1 fan continuing to battle. Oh, number 1 fan, a little bit of tapping there between Court and number 1 fan. Court gets ahead, number 1 fan stays behind, so Court will stay in P7 for now. And that amazing battle for P4 is forming between Monster Energy, Toyota, and Ford. This is great to see, guys. I cannot wait to see how this battle turns out. Keensom looking for the move on Blades. Here we go. It's Keensom going to try and make the overtake. We will find out. Blades still ahead for now. He is on those medium tires, though. And he's actually going to come into the pit lane. Keensom gives him the space, of course, because that is the line as Shugs Ice comes into the pit lane. I'm surprised the King David is not coming into the pit lane. I think those tires are probably in puncture territory right now. And so this is going to be a little bit hard for him to manage that. Keensom is now trying to make the move on Mr. Basil. The two admins of LFR are going to go wheel to wheel in a moment in time. I think Keensom is looking for the move but cannot make it. Mr. Basil makes a little mistake of the braking of turn 3 though. And now here comes Keensom. Now puts himself up into 3rd position. So Keensom has put himself up into 3rd. Mr. Basil now down in P4 now. So it looks like Mr. Basil outbraked himself a little bit there. Looks like the braking is not really working out for a lot of these drivers here today. That corner is really difficult, guys, and I feel for all these guys because I've messed up so many times at turn 3 because first off, your braking into that corner is really difficult. I explained this earlier on, yeah, the braking is really difficult, and then also coming on the power, especially if you're running no traction control, then the amount of pace coming off of that particular corner is going to be limited, because the thing is that you're slowly coming off of the hairpin. And with traction, you can't just immediately put on the power with no traction control, of course. And that's going to, of course, make you spin. And with that corner, you have to immediately put on the power because you have that next DRS rate. It is a very difficult corner because I'll ride on board with Mr. Basil just to show you guys. So you got to brake, and then you got to turn that car, and then slowly just dab the throttle, and then come into the full gears. You know, then shift up into higher gears. So my particular suggestion for that would be to shift into higher gears for like maybe 2nd to 3rd to 4th, and then just go into the normal shifting patterns for that particular corner. So going back to the action, Court and number 1 fan having their nice battle. Court is on fresh new tires, of course. Number 1 fan on those 11-lap-old medium compound tires. And number 1 fan is in the Bentley. He's looking to get a really good result here today. Oh, that is Lewis, I do believe. He's off of turn 8. What happened to Lewis? I think he spun off of turn 8. Unfortunately, he just went a little bit too wide, maybe. Just spun the car. Looks like he saved it, so thank goodness there. He's going to be down in P13, though, which is not the ideal position. Now, going back to what is going on to the front of the field, we got to focus on that, guys, because we have a really, really interesting battle going on here. We have King David on 19-lap-old tires. I have no idea how he's managing that. They surely have to be in puncture territory at this particular stage. I don't know if he's trying to make it to the end of the race. I mean, he has to, right? I mean, I think it's a little too late to pit for the softs, unless it's a situation where you have to, of course. Yeah, I don't know. Can he make it to the end of the race on these soft compound tires? I don't think so. And with Flea gaining so much time, it's going to be really hard for King David to try and make sure he keeps P1